So, I'm back from a week-long boycott. Now, obviously, if you saw my short video talking about the Clippy movement, you would have already known that, but for those who didn't, yeah, I decided to boycott YouTube for a week. I know most of you will be like, that's not long enough. It's like, personally, I think that was a decent bit of time, because one thing we got to remember before we get into the main topics for this video, the internet and YouTube has been a part of our lives for a decade and a half now, a decade or two. So it's not exactly going to be the easiest task to boycott. And I knew that 48 hours wouldn't even be enough, so I told myself I'll do it for a week. And I have. So I came back to YouTube, I was like, oh boy, I managed to do this boycott. I hope things haven't got worse. Yeah, no, things have gotten worse. If there was a time now to really get our voices up, it's now. Like, it is honestly now. The news we're about to disclose in this video, I honestly didn't want to be real, but it is. And it has to be acknowledged because it doesn't just affect, your average Google search or what you watch on YouTube. It can affect the world at large. Like gaming and being a YouTuber and all that. So, without further ado, let's get into the topics of this video. If you need to catch up on what the Online Surveillance Act is, no, I'm not calling it safety, it is anything but safe. I've already made a video talking about that when it was new, known as The Internet and Your Freedom Are in Danger. Be sure to check that out if you want more details on the Online Surveillance Act, as I'll call it, and I honestly think more people should call it. So, originally, I have learned from a really good YouTuber who I've forgotten the name of, but I'm sure you guys will know what I'm relating to. So, YouTube's AI verification. It's still not great, but it might actually be YouTube trying to dodge the Online Surveillance Act. They might have been on our side all along, and we've been targeting the wrong group. We're supposed to be targeting, the people who even passed this stupid law. But yeah, it's still not great, it's still not good. The whole idea of having an AI spy on you for everything you do on YouTube and whatnot. But it might have been for different intentions the whole time, so sorry guys at YouTube, I didn't realise you were like that. But yeah, still, it would be better if things were still human, like manually reviewed, like it used to be, and not with AI. But yeah, things are more different than I thought, and yeah. Also, Google are now thinking to use this for searches too, so yeah, just when I thought you guys were doing something good, you kind of fell down the flight of stairs you were trying to climb up by doing this. So yeah, I mean, again, I know most of you will be saying, you do realise they've been spying on us for like years now, and it's like, that's not the point. It's the fact that it's being so normalised, and people are more technologically clever now. Like, have you seen the amount of small to medium-sized YouTube channels getting hacked because people have faked being a company to give sponsorships? Yeah, that's a real thing. So, yeah, this whole act will make that skyrocket, which is not good. And another thing to mention as well is not even 48 hours when people started the Clippy boycott movement, there were already emails spoofed. Now, for those who don't know what email spoofing is, it's where someone who's pretending to be, let's say, like I just mentioned, a big corporation, maybe, want to give a YouTuber a sponsorship or something like that. They alter it just right, so it seems like it is the real company contacting you. And what they do is they try and gain your trust, and then once they do that, they send you a PDF file. Do not open it. do not press it, because that's how they get their one-way ticket to your channel, or in other cases, your private information. So yeah, I'm going to say it again, just like I said in that original video talking about the Surveillance Act. Do not give away your information. That should be common sense, but we live in the modern day, and not everyone, how do I put this lightly, are the sharpest tools in the shed compared to most of us. So yeah, just don't give your information. And it's honestly sucks that, honestly, most people won't even have sponsorships on their channels anymore, because it's Russian roulette on whether or not it's the actual company or a bad actor that wants to get access to your channel. So yeah, great one, guys. Great, I can't speak English because of this tomfoolery taking place. Great job, government. You've totally protected those kids, am I right? Even though you straight up admitted it was never about them in the first place. Speaking of kids, Roblox. Do you guys remember Roblox? The multi-game platform? You know, where people make games and, you know, you can play them, even though most of them are just kind of knockoffs to real games that you can get, like, on Steam or something. Yeah, they've had a, creepy person problem for a really long time now. And thankfully, I won't name any names, but I'll just say, if you know, you know. One person was doing God's work, I guess you could say, or truly being a good person, being a vigilante, catching these people red-handed. You know, you'd think the big corporation would go, "Wow, you're such a noble person, we should praise your good deeds." Nope. They banned him and tried to silence him. Yeah, that's not suspicious or anything. That totally doesn't confirm that you are protecting terrible people. Yeah, you know, why would we think that? So with all this rightful backlash that the company got, the CEO made a response, and from what I've heard, it's barely a response, it feels like an AI wrote it. And you know it's bad when Chris Hansen is brought out of retirement to cover the topic. That's how you know it's bad. That's how you know you fumbled the bag. But another thing to mention with this topic is that people like politicians could use this as a golden ticket to basically hit the nuke button and kill the internet as a whole. Because, you know, we can't have kids being hurt, even though, again, you made it very clear it was never about them in the first place. You seem to, you know, keep changing your mind. You either care or you don't. But yeah, we need to just make it clear that it's up to the parents to monitor what their kids are doing. Yes, it is unfortunate that on an app, or I guess platform, like Roblox, such terrible things happen. But again, it's up to the parents to be in the know about this. Monitor what their kids are doing, set the parental controls and the necessary restrictions to protect their kids, which have been there for a very long time now. But no, again, they're the reason this whole clown fest is taking place. So yeah, I hope that the person who was doing vigilante work on the platform gets their justice and, you know, gets praised for their good work. And I really do hope that the platform can improve, because as much as I am not into Roblox anymore, I completely understand why it's as popular as it is. It's easily accessible and all that. So yeah, hopefully you fellow Robloxians, would you be called, can enjoy your games in peace in the future without having to worry about a bunch of creeps. Okay, here's a familiar name if you've watched my previous video talking about this stuff. Collective Shout, you know, the feminists who don't understand video games or the internet, who have thankfully taken more L's than have actually done anything bad. They want gamers arrested now for harassment. Now, when you say that, that's quite a strong thing to say. Is it really harassment though? Or is it people rightfully criticising your terrible actions? There's a difference, people. But yeah, this is just really dumb. It's like, games are more than what they look like on the surface. A game like, I brought this example up in the last video, Elden Ring. It's not just a game where it's really violent and you go around and take people out and, oh no, there's female characters in there, oh no, we gotta shut it down. No, it's far deeper than that, and I'm pretty sure fellow Soulsborne game players in my comment section can happily inform those who somehow have the same ideology as these losers, can say, no, actually, there's more to it, and things like that. But yeah, and let's just say hypothetically they do somehow manage to pass this point across, and gamers around the world, which there are millions of, by the way, this is a far more mainstream hobby than it used to be, they do get arrested. Can't arrest all of us, there's not enough room in all the prisons, can't get all of us. Sure, you might be able to get the vast majority, but you can't get everyone. Yeah, no, this is just straight up dumb. Hopefully this will be another L that they take, and once again we can go back to laughing at them. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's just really dumb. You can't arrest people for a hobby that they like. Obviously within reason. If it's like committing crimes, then fair enough, but not for stuff like video games. Like, come on, dude, it's not the 80s or the 90s anymore. People know better now. Now, despite giving YouTube some credit over a situation that, again, I watched one video of, and said individual actually made some very good points that I didn't even think about. Yeah, this video is still most likely to get ghosted though, because of everything else happening. And all I can say, just like the last one, spread it as much far as you can. Spread it as much as you can, because people do need to know that we cannot let this slide. And I'm gonna say it now as well. How the hell did we let this escalate as far as it has? Like, seriously, this should have been stopped immediately. Like, the moment that a certain group in my country, the land of tea and crumpets, proposed this law, which apparently they did in 2023 previously, but apparently it wasn't that bad, considering, I didn't hear any of this nonsense, but they were considering facial scans, because of course they were. Yeah, now they're just putting our privacy in danger and things like that. Again, I mentioned the consequences of doing this in my other video. But yeah, how have we allowed this to go this far? Someone should have stepped in, gone, hold on, this is illegal. You're violating the human right to freedom of speech and especially privacy. We're going to stop you right there. How has no one done that yet? How? Oh, I know why, because of the terrible Trojan horse excuse that was protecting the kids. Again, I said it in the last video. If somehow you still think they are actually serious about this, congrats, you fell for the propaganda hook, line and sinker. I hope you're proud of yourselves. But yeah, I just think it's disgusting that they're using children as this reason to parade around why they want to end, like, the human right to privacy and freedom of speech. Like, this sounds like something out of a Black Mirror or South Park episode. I can't believe it, guys. We're living in a South Park episode at the moment. This is insane. In fact, I would not be surprised if South Park makes an episode parodying something like The Terminator or whatnot with current world events. But yeah, keep making your voices heard and contact your MPs or senators or whatever it is in your country that's being affected by all this, and let them know this is not okay. You do not approve of this, and this is very much illegal. For those who want to go on a holiday, which, is a very relatable topic, you want to get away from your country for a while, discover new sites, refresh yourself. You can't even do that safely anymore, as now you have to have a fingerprint scan. And it's not just that. On paper, the fingerprint doesn't sound that bad, you know. How else will you get into the various popular theme parks and things like that? But here's the difference though. Said theme parks are not very likely to keep very personal data. All it is just you and what your ticket is. That's it. Nothing else. But since the government is going to be doing it now, and various other governments, you can bet it's not for good intentions. They're going to keep a hold of that data as much as they want. And what's bad as well is that they're using this new system to, you know, falsely accuse you of a crime you never committed. Let's set the scene. You're at a hotel, you know, you're having a great time, you know, you just had a really good day going shopping and whatnot, and then all of a sudden you hear screaming, and you know, someone's like, oh my god, someone just got attacked and things like that, and you think, oh no, I better stay safe and things like that. Or the less dramatic situation, you're home from your holiday, you're like, that was a wonderful time, and then you hear that a murder happened at your hotel and you were lucky you left. Now usually, you know, you're like, you feel really bad, and you know, the police naturally will look into who was there. Now they're going to assume you're a suspect, even though you can say with certainty it didn't happen when you were there. But nope, since you scanned your fingerprint, and since you just happened to be there and the event happened to be recent enough, off to jail, bucko. I hope you don't have a family with a wife and kid. Yeah, I'm losing the will to speak English. This is by far the dumbest thing ever. I've said that statement a lot, but that's because it's true. It's like, you can't even escape anymore. You're just tracked no matter where you go. And that leads to, I guess, how I feel about this whole entire thing. Everything we've talked about. The Online Surveillance Act, all of these new developments that have been happening and things like that. I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really scared. Internet privacy is so important. And the fact that that might become a foreign concept is genuinely scary. I mean, thankfully, people have found out that the whole YouTube AI thing hasn't even worked, and you know, 99.9% of people have not been affected by it. That's good and all, but again, the concept scares me. It's like, as someone who is neurodivergent and whose interests most people or society at large may consider childish, should hypothetically one day in my spare time I'm just chilling on YouTube, you know, watching some stuff I like, and then all of a sudden something pops up saying give your ID to prove you're not a kid. Obviously I'm not going to do that. I have already mentioned in both this video and the last one talking about this stuff, you should never ever do that. I'm now considered a child. Do you guys realise how infantilizing that is? Yeah, that's a new word. That's a strong word I'm using, but it's very valid to the situation. It's like, it's bad enough for most people, right? But it's especially bad for people who are neurodivergent or just have childish interests in general, according to most of the world and what this act thinks is childish. And it's not just obviously us that are going to be affected by this should we let this slide any further. It's our future generations. It's going to be future children and things like that. They could be raised in a world where privacy doesn't exist anymore, and they'll think it's okay, which is heartbreaking to think about, because it never was and it should never be okay to have your privacy get taken from you just like that. And again, all of this clown circus act we've been seeing play out these last couple weeks, It's for monitoring and control. Again, it should not be surprising for those who are chronically online, such as myself. But yeah, if you still didn't know, it is for monitoring and power. It's just George Orwell's 1984. I've said that a lot in the last video, so that should tell you everything. And the creepy people that I've been mentioning, you know, the whole reason this act also exists, they're not even going to be stopped. If anything, you are making it easier for them to target people, because they can just go on the dark web or even the surface web, because you guys and the third parties you're giving our data to are so incompetent. It'd be like an auction, you know, the very fast talking person that says the prices, and it's like, and sold. The idea of a mother and her kids sold to the guy down the street. It's like, yeah, no, this is wrong, honestly. And just saying, for all the people in power that still think this is good, don't be surprised if crime rates and death rates absolutely skyrocket, as well as arresting rates, because of the stupid fingerprint scan. And it's like, they would rather go after people who had no control over their situation, or said a naughty word and said a mean word to someone on social media, than actually going after truly the lowest scum on this planet. But with all that said, as much as hope is not looking good right now, we gained another ally. 4chan. Okay, calm down. I know they're not exactly a site we tend to think about positively, but I'm honestly going to give them some respect from now onwards, because they decided to step up for us. You know, when, you know, the UK government were like, we're going to fine you because you're not complying with our laws. You know what 4chan said? Screw you, we do what we want. This is America, where we come from. And in America, you don't tell us what to do. Honestly, respect. But yeah, we have another ally trying to help us with this situation. And it's honestly really funny how the government got dunked on so much by a group of people running a American website. That's funny to me. But yeah, with that little bit of hope given, I will express the same messages as I did in my last video before it ends. Keep fighting. Just keep fighting. As much as the odds are not in our favour, the fight, the war, it's not over yet. Keep fighting. Express your rights, your amendments, or whatever you like to call them. Keep making it clear that all of this that is happening is illegal and should not be allowed to be passed. And I have a little secret. For those who want to at least add a layer of protection. Obviously, I can't guarantee you'll 100% be safe, but it's better than nothing. So, if you go onto your Google account and go to data and privacy, have a look for an option. I won't say what, but I'm sure you'll find it. And hopefully, you'll be a little bit safe, as much as, again, the odds are not in our favour, and it feels like Armageddon is taking place. But yeah, sorry for another negative video, guys. I really didn't want to make another one like this, but you can't just ignore these issues because they're genuinely serious. But yeah, I'm back. I'm going to be back to making Let's Play content and basically everything that I like, and I'm hoping that as time goes on, I don't get caught in the crossfire either. I can just continue making my silly little videos, talking about my silly little interests and, you know, my favourite hobby of all time, that being video games and gaming. And hopefully I can provide you guys some comfort in these dark times, because I guess that's another reason now I can add to the checklist as to why I made this channel in the first place. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for those who watched through the entire video. and, you know, took this information in. I know it's a lot to take in. And if there's anything I got wrong, if there's anything that I either got wrong or becomes outdated, please let me know, alright? And let your fellow people know in the comment section. Because information's important to get out there. It really is. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next upload. Also, as of the making of this video, Gamescom Opening Night Live is happening. Sadly, I won't be reacting to it while it's live. That was fantastic English right there. I won't be reacting to them because the last time I did that, it was very laggy, and one of them didn't even have the audio go through properly. So yeah, I think I'll just wait for separate trailers for stuff I'm interested in to drop and possibly react to. So yeah, stay safe, don't give out your personal information, no matter what the site or service looks like, and spread the word. Spread the word. We need to get this act repealed.